We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard, and I wonder where you are.
So in my last video about what I'd like to see in Saints Row 5, I kind of gave the idea of something called dynamic gangs, and what this dynamic gangs thing would do was, instead of it always being the Saints versus the world, so every other enemy gang, it would be that the other gangs would kind of fight each other for territory, and the world wouldn't revolve around the player all the time, and there'd be something cool or something else happening in the background that didn't require attention. So that's what basically one part of dynamic gangs was, but I felt like my idea wasn't in depth enough. Like, I kind of felt like I was scratching the surface of what we could do with like changes to how gangs function. And so one thing I want to add in this video, this being part 2 of that dynamic gangs concept, is that the gang should be able to return after they've been wiped out. So usually in like Saints Row 2 or 3, you would do missions and activities and take over territories and kill the boss, and then that gang would then not appear on the map anymore, and you could freely roam around without to worry about being attacked by anyone. But then once you like finish the story and whatnot, doesn't the map ever feel kind of empty and nothing happening? And you just want to shoot something, and sometimes you get tired of shooting the police. It'd be nice if the previous gangs could try and like build themselves back up again by like slowly taking territories over again, and then you can like try and stop them and fight them and stuff. And so we technically see Saints Row 2 is literally this, where, okay, so the plot of Saints Row 2 is you get blown up, you're in a coma for like 6 years or something, and then you come back and you rebuild the Saints and you start taking over territories and whatnot. And so this concept has been a game before, so why can't we have enemy gangs do a similar thing where you take out the entire gang, but then a lieutenant or something rises up and goes, okay, I am now the boss of this gang, and now we're taking territories over, and then they start actually taking territories over. They take your territories over, they take enemy territories over, they take basically what they can, and they keep building themselves up. So then you get this thing where a new side quest would pop up, or like some mission, or it would just have or on your map there would be like a territory taking over like alert going off that there's someone trying to take over this territory. So there's always this like threat that once you take out the gang, they can always return, but you don't know when. It's like this looming threat that it's not permanent, like someone's gonna try and come back. And that would be a really cool way to add something to the game, like something sort of an end game sort of thing. So when you like finish the game and you want to play it again, and you don't feel like just restarting the game and doing all the missions over again, and you just want to continue to say like you haven't reached level 50 or something and you just need that XP and you've done all the activities, and like this could be another thing that adds on top of the pile of things to do, that when you hop on, that there might be a gang resurfacing and taking over things, and now you have this smaller gang trying to basically become larger and then try and take you out. So you always have this conflict going on. Another thing I want to add was this is very different, but adding kind of like minor gangs and factions that are also trying to basically take over areas. Like this, like I'm kind of making it sound like Saints Row 5 should just be specifically about taking over each other's territories or something, but like adding minor gangs, they're like really small gangs that don't have any specific characters, like named characters, or cuts like voice line, not much voice lines, but just these tiny little groups of people who are also trying to start shit up, but they're so pathetic that they're not a threat. But if you leave them alone long enough, they will have enough territories to take over and basically become a threat to the player. And then you get another type of side quest where you go, okay, these guys are screwing up our operation and we need to take them out because they've taken over some of our territory and I don't like this and we're losing money. So then you can go kill these guys who were minor gangs that are now like becoming larger threats, and that'd be a cool thing. Like, this is a concept that I'm actually pulling from Need for Speed Carbon. So in Need for Speed Carbon, you would do races and when you fuck you, clock. But okay, so when you did races, you could do it, and if you did enough races in a certain territory, you would take it over, right? But during these races, there would be your crew, that would be the crew that owned the territory, and you'd get some other guys that were like minor crews as well. And if they won, they would obviously take over the thing as well. So I'm trying to like basically take concepts from other games and see if we can add them into like games like Saints Row, so you can have like more enemies to fight, and it adds like more depth to the game, because I always felt like Saints Row was one of those games where it feels like there can always be something more to add to the game. Like, I feel like the game is like scratching the surface on what they can do. Like, you got story missions, you got activities, and those activities are like really cool and unique and stuff, but then you never have any depth to the gameplay. Like, we don't know what Saints Row 5 is going to be like. If it's like a reboot, are we the leader of the Saints? Are we going to be like Saints Row 1 where we're just going to be a lieutenant or whatever? But being a leader of the Saints, usually it entails doing some management, and when you're playing like Saints Row the 3rd or even Saints Row 2, you don't feel like you're managing a gang at all. Like, you do missions and activities, and that's really like why don't we ever set up any drug warehouses and then control how much money we're putting into it, and the more money we put into it, the better security those places have, and raids could happen on those areas as well. So we never have that level of depth into it. So that's actually another thing I just added to dynamic gangs, that we could have our own warehouses and stuff that can be attacked by enemy gangs. Ooh, that is cool. So, what happened? Oh, another thing we could do is freaking trafficking routes. Like, you go in and then you like drive around and you put checkpoints down, and then when your gang is like moving stuff, they will follow this route, and the enemy gangs could learn this route over time and then start to attack it and create ambush spots. So now you have to either protect those protect parts of the route, or even change the route by driving around and putting checkpoints down, kind of like how you do in Forza Horizon 4's route creator, where you drive around, put a checkpoint down, and you go down, finish the route, play the route. The AI will follow the route you created and go through each checkpoint until they do it successfully, and then you have a route that works. So that also could be a really cool way to add more depth to managing a gang and adding more stuff to it. I guess this went from making all gangs dynamic to even making your own gang have more depth to do, because you're a leader of a pretty large organization, so you should have some managing to do, and adding elements from like almost like a tower defense sort of thing into the game would be an interesting way to do this, pretty much, and would be really cool. And when I'm talking, my jaw keeps clicking and it's kind of annoying me. So I'm gonna go fix my jaw, and I'm gonna end this video right here. I will see you guys in my next video. I'm gonna assume my next video, it might be a Forza video, but I'm not sure. If it's not a Forza video, I might make another Saints Row video. Or even a Need for Speed video. Well, if you like this type of stuff, please like and subscribe if you want to see more of it and enjoy it. Hit the dislike if you thought that I need improving, or you didn't like it, I don't know. If you want me to improve, also put a comment down saying what I should do to make my videos better. I assume most of it is making my ideas be more thought out, and I shouldn't run off to a different idea and not fully explain everything before, you know, moving on. I do have that problem sometimes. I get a little excited when I'm talking about something cool. So yeah, I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.